This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you in part by Telex, the interconnection company, owners and operators of 56 Marietta, the most network-rich co-location facility in the Southeast. Tag TV and Tag Radio. Technology now has a voice of innovation and information. Get it on www.tagtvonline.com. Greetings, everyone. It's Tuesday, January 19th, 2009, and welcome to a special breaking news edition of Tech Talk. I'm your guest host, Frank Baia. The big news, Technology Trade Association consolidation as the Technology Association of Georgia, TAG, forms an historic affiliation agreement with TechAmerica, the nation's largest association representing all segments of the high-tech industry. TechAmerica was formed by a merger of AEA, formerly the American Electronics Association, the Cybersecurity Industry Alliance, the Information Technology Association of America, and the Government Electronics and Information Technology Association. On this Breaking News Tech Talk special, we speak with Christopher W. Hansen, Chief Executive of the largest tech association in the United States, TechAmerica, and with Tino Mantella, President of TAG, the 8,700-member and growing premier technology organization in Georgia. How will it all work? What does it mean for TAG and TechAmerica members, and for that matter, to the greater state economy and the technology community at large? What are the advantages at a state level or at a federal level? Will the new affiliation provide value globally to the allied organization memberships? From the technology industry's role in leading our economy out of the recession to the policymakers and our nation's leaders in Washington, D.C. and in our capital city of Atlanta, it's a special breaking news tech talk. TAG and TechAmerica form strategic relationship as we go live to TechAmerica headquarters in Arlington, Virginia to speak with its CEO, Christopher Hansen, and to the Synergy Tower headquarters of Tino Mantella, President of TAG in downtown Atlanta. Greetings, gentlemen, and welcome to Tech Talk.
Thanks, Frank. Happy to be here.
Hey, Frank, how are you?
Tino, let's start with you. Let's maybe get a sense of a perspective in terms of how did this whole thing evolve?
Well, there's a group called TECNA, Technology Councils in North America, and that's about 40 representative organizations like us all throughout North America, and we come together at least twice a year, compare notes, best practices, benchmarking. And a couple years ago now, TechAmerica, as it was forming, became part of that organization and became partners with us. And we worked out an arrangement where we would actually became an agreement where some of the local technology organizations would partner directly with TechAmerica, and we were off to the races to see if we could actually make this happen. And I think TAG, along with the state of Washington's technology organization, were the first two in the country to actually ink the deal, and so we're excited about it.
Chris, tell us a little bit about, I mentioned the merging of all of the other organizations. That happened about a year ago. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with TechAmerica and how did it come about?
Well, I think what really happened is that I was the president and CEO of AEA, which used to be the American Electronics Association,
right,
which was founded by David Packard in 1943, and Bill Bond, who's the president of TechAmerica, was the president and CEO of the Information Technology Association of America, and he was in the process of doing some mergers, but he and I had known each other for a long time, and we started talking about the fact that I think we both felt very strongly that we could do a better job of representing the industry if we joined forces and started a consolidation movement of associations that represent the technology industry. Largely because most industries have one big technology association that represents them, and what happened is, in our case, that was not the case. There were a lot of associations at the national level, a number throughout the states, and we felt that it diffused our influence and didn't help us to do some things that we could do by creating scale. And the fact of the matter is, it's a huge influential industry, and we were not as an industry, fully leveraging the advantages that we should have.
TechAmerica.org, am I correct, is the URL of the website? I don't have it in front of me, but I checked it earlier. Let me make sure that I've got that right. Yes, TechAmerica.org for our listeners, all of our members who are going to want to find out more information about TechAmerica. Pretty impressive. I think there's a lot to cover there and a lot to take a look at, and it certainly is reflective of, I guess, the advantages that you're citing as far as trade association consolidation at both a state level and a federal level. I noticed a considerable state level activity. Tino, if you will, tell our members a little bit about what you think this holds for our membership and how is it going to work exactly, what's going to be the relationship if I'm already a TAG member.
Good question. One of the things I wanted to point out as you were talking to Chris about the merging of organizations or consolidation, it happens in business and happens in nonprofits as well, is Chris and Phil really have been working hard to consolidate the technology industry. So the merger of those two organizations and our affiliate partnership here in Georgia, and we will represent TechAmerica in Georgia, is just the tip of the iceberg. It's amazing how many consolidations, mergers, acquisitions, whatever you want to term it. I think Chris has had a little bit of all of those have come together in this past year, so they've been moving really fast to consolidate, which is good for everyone. It's certainly good for the tech community in Georgia. So to your question, we think we've been in TechAmerica and TAG partnered early on to make one call to a company and talk about the benefits to that company with the merged opportunities. And it became very clear to me, and I certainly felt that way or we wouldn't have entered into the agreement, but it became clear to me that there was some great opportunities that neither organization could have on their own. So, for example, this organization that's now a member of TechAmerica and therefore TAG has access to the power and the strength of TechAmerica at the federal level in respect to advocacy and all of the various committees and councils that, again, TechAmerica at the federal level track. And to be part of that, you're actually part of the national movement and part of what government's trying to do or not to do and how technology has to be a voice for technology at the federal level. And Chris will talk more about that, I'm sure, at the federal level. There's national conferences and a number of other things, but certainly what appealed to us is their statewide reach across every state in terms of policy and then their federal policy. And then we add into that all of the benefits that some of the TechAmerica members who have not been members of TAG will gain by this partnership, and that is we're the organization on the ground here in Georgia with the 8,700 members that has access to our 25 societies and has access to our 150-plus meetings. So it's for the C-level leaders, but it's also for all of the employees in these organizations. So when you combine those two activities, the TAG members are going to have, and the TechAmerica members are going to have a richer experience. Finally, Chris came out of AARP, and we know anybody, of course, I'm not of that age, and you aren't either, Frank, but anyone that would be a member of AARP would know of the many affinity benefits that AARP has put together for people that are members there. And so TechAmerica has a number of benefits that TAG members, even if they don't join TechAmerica, will immediately be able to take advantage of, whether it's reduced car rental fees and all the kinds of things that are available. Also, if they do join both organizations, there's a health insurance package that's available, and certainly TAG members have not had access to that before. So that's just a few things. We could go on.
Sure,
but that
sounds. I guess it would be helpful, though, maybe if you can describe the basic process. I mean, what I'm hearing is that if I'm a TAG member, I don't necessarily have to join TechAmerica, but I can, or
yes,
I can join it at a discount or at certain levels. I mean, maybe go into a little bit about what's going to be the impact to my membership as a TAG member.
Right. Their membership can stay exactly as it is, and they will not have any obligation to join TechAmerica. With their tag membership, they'll immediately get some new affinity benefits, compliments at TechAmerica, and those should be on our site within the next couple of weeks. We're working on that now. And then if they choose to join TechAmerica, then they'll have access to a number of things, including health insurance, including more on the including the national financial conferences that TechAmerica runs at the membership price, and other things that Chris can add to the conversation. But again, if they're a tag member today and they say, oh, what's this about? They can stay a tag member and continue with their services. They'll get the added benefits of the affinity program. We'll be talking to many of the members about the benefit to look at being a tag/TechAmerica member, and there's some additional benefits there that some companies will want to take advantage of, particularly because there's a major focus from TechAmerica on technology companies. So there's more of a niche there that there's some additional benefits.
Well, Chris, talk a little bit about, I know one thing a lot of our members would be interested in is a greater advantage and greater access from an international level. Does TechAmerica engage at an international level? And how does that work?
And I'd like to preface my answer to this by adding one more thing to what Tino was just saying, and that is because we have members across the country who are small companies and medium-sized companies and large companies. One of the things that we found is that a lot of our companies join us for the products and services that Tino was talking about initially. Oftentimes they can save more money through joining us than they spend to join us. They also join typically for networking in the beginning, and the networking is more at the state and local level. But as those companies grow bigger, then they become more interested in the public policy work, what we do with public policy at the state level, public policy at the federal level, and then, to your question, at the international level. And that's primarily larger and medium-sized companies that are interested in engaging with us internationally. We have an office in Brussels, and we have a European arm. We also share an office in Beijing with 3 other technology trade associations. And the office in Beijing is actually an office that was started jointly by the Commerce Department and AEA originally. What we do internationally, we do a lot of trade work, so that companies that have international trade issues with the countries that they're located in, we do a lot of work in that area where we help facilitate trade. We also get involved in a lot of right now we're involved in a lot of environmental issues. We had a contingent of people from the association and company members who were at the meeting in Copenhagen here just and typically the environmental regulations for the people that are in the hardware end of the industry, the most difficult environmental standards typically come out of Europe first, and so it's often important to deal with them there, and that's part of what we do. And then we also get involved in economic development opportunities. For instance, our European arm is in the process of doing some work with Turkey right now, trying to help U.S. companies develop their business in Turkey. So we do a lot of that type of work, and then we also do a lot of international work at the federal level in Washington on international trade issues and anything that affects the industry in terms of our international trade relations, et cetera. So that's a very big part of what we do.
Now, I mentioned earlier, again, TechAmerica.org. I'm sure there's a lot of other information about events, communications, newsletters, that type of thing. Can I get information about if I have a particular issue as it relates to the federal level that I might be interested in? Can I find out more by going to TechAmerica.org?
Yeah, you can find out a lot more by going to TechAmerica.org because it is that website is something that is where we merge 2 websites together. We are still putting a lot of information on that website, but there's a tremendous amount of information that's available on that website now. And if for any reason, our contact information is also on the website. If there are any questions that people have that they can't answer through the website, we're always happy to also answer their questions if they just call us and ask or send us an email.
One of the things that TAG has really gotten active in is we have a foundation. We call it our Education Collaborative, the Technology Association of Georgia Education Collaborative. And what we've come to realize just in the last year or so, I mean, I guess we've always known it, but we've realized how many of our members really want to help. They really want to be part of something bigger than just business. TechAmerica have a foundation, and what kind of work goes on in the foundation?
Well, we do have a foundation, and it's a foundation that's growing fairly rapidly. Basically, we work in three different areas in our foundation. One is we do a tremendous amount of research in the foundation. We do demographic studies that basically describe the whole industry and how the industry is changing. It's all based on data that comes from the U.S. government, but basically we mine the data so you can tell, what parts of the industry are growing, where it's growing, what states have the most technology industry in it, where's manufacturing growing, where is it declining, where is services growing, et cetera. So it's a complete demographic study. We also do other research. We do research on U.S. competitiveness. We have a variety of things that we focus on. We've had a focus on green technology. We've had a focus on different things like the research and development tax credits. We do a fair amount of work also on the importance of trade and trade statistics in that research. We also do education programs, and they tend to be programs that are across the country throughout our network. A lot of it aimed at trying to strengthen STEM education in schools around the country so that we can do a better job of creating the talent pool that we as an industry need across the country. And then we also have programs that we're doing through the foundation where we provide information to the industry, and I'll give you one example. We have a program where we, on an annual basis, we basically analyze the entire federal budget. And we drill down very deep. We do this in a collaborative process with people who are experts in strategic planning from member companies, strategic planning and market analysis. Mm-hmm. And so we look at all of the federal agencies who do substantial procurement. Defense Department right at the top of the list. Mm. NASA, Department of Energy, Department of Transportation, et cetera, et cetera. So we have a kind of a complete look at the federal government and where the procurement opportunities are. And I have to tell you, one of the things that led me to be attracted to doing this was I spent most of my career in the aerospace industry. I spent 26 years between Boeing and General Dynamics. And that information, which originally came out of the government Government Electronics and Industry Association portion of our merger, that particular process and that information was the most valuable information we could get on the government market anywhere, and that was our business. So we knew that how valuable it was.
Well, Tino, cover for us, and we're obviously running quickly out of time, and there's so much to discover, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more information going out over the next several weeks to continue to add to what we're talking about today. But next steps, what do we see in the process of how we make this thing more immediately to an advantage of our members, and what is the long-term process?
Well, in the short term, we're building the foundation here. The agreement was signed about a week ago, and we've moved the one full-time staff person who was working directly for TechAmerica to the TAG offices, so we've created that consolidation. Our TAG staff are going to go through training with some of the top TechAmerica staff over the course of the next 30 days. We'll be adding information to our website. We also have something coming up called the Bash in the Burbs, and that will be open, kind of our kickoff celebration recognition of the consolidation. It'll also just be a fun place for people from both TAG and TechAmerica to get together, and that's on the 28th in the evening, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Point Clear, and our members and TechAmerica members can register online for that. Recently, we have had the opportunity to work with the Georgia Chamber of Commerce. Steve Ballmer from Microsoft is coming to town, and we've invited the leaders of our premier members, our 85 premier members, and also the TechAmerica members leadership here in Georgia to attend that event. So the TechAmerica members in that case are already reaping some benefit for their connection with TAG. So those are all short-term activities. In the long term, we have similar goals, TechAmerica and TAG, in terms of driving the technology industry and making sure that certainly in Georgia, in our case, that technology has a considerable footprint and is recognized as an important engine for our state. And so that's going to tie into policy advocacy, economic development activities, bringing in experts when appropriate from TechAmerica on the federal policy side, and just really taking advantage of the many benefits that the partnership will enable us to secure.
Sounds like a powerhouse combination. I got to take advantage, Chris, of your perspective in dealing out of Washington. As we close, give us a little bit of an insight as to how's the technology industry viewed by policymakers up in D.C., and maybe tell us a little bit about do they have any perception on the technology industry helping to lead us out of the recession?
Yeah, I think they do. First of all, people in the federal government, policymakers, tend to be, they have issues with various industries, but by and large, they like this industry. They like what it does, and they like what the implications are. I think that they have been very, very positive about the notion of consolidating our representation, because they like to go to one place and get one answer to the things that they want to ask about the industry, so that they don't get a variety of different answers from a variety of different people. And I think they also want to see this industry be able to assert itself through focusing our efforts to communicate and to influence the process. But I do think there's a very strong feeling that technology is going to be the thing that really pulls our economy out of some of the difficulties that we've had and really get us back on track. And I think that they hold that view for a couple of different reasons. One is that there's a history of technology in this country. We have oftentimes used technology to leapfrog problems, and that would go back to, I'd go back to our space program, where we were behind at one point in time the Russians, and we managed to just focus on it and leapfrog what they were doing, and that was very frustrating to them in a variety of ways. We're now learning, reading back about some of the history that we can now tap into since the wall came down. The other thing is that the technology that our industry provides is also technology that makes other industries in this country more competitive. It really is a game changer. It brings a lot of other people into the economy who wouldn't otherwise be able to participate. It makes companies be far more competitive than they would otherwise be. It really creates a lot of additional value in a lot of different places, and I think people see this. They see that there is constant change going on, and that there is constant opportunity. So there's a tremendous amount of optimism about what this industry can do on behalf of the U.S. economy as a whole.
TAG and TechAmerica form a strategic relationship. It's breaking news on Tech Talk. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay.
Thanks, Frank. Good to be with you.
Good to be with you, Tino.